Boom, what's up guys? This is Steve Larsen. This is Sales Funnel Radio. We're going to talk about training wheels. Is this a real gun?
I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business, using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio.
What's up guys? Hey, first off, this is not a real gun, okay? Just so you know, it's an airsoft gun, but it's a replication of a few others. Hey, I know I give a lot of military examples, but I want to give one for you right now, okay? When I first, right, it's just because it was a part of my life for a while, okay? And so this lesson, if I can get you to understand how this relates with sales funnels, it has everything to do with sales funnels, okay? Follow me for a moment, okay? When we were shooting, and we would shoot, and we'd 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 shoot. Before we ever shot a bullet, guys, for weeks and weeks and weeks, all we would do is we would lay prone on concrete, and this is what we'd do. We'd sit down, and they would make us hit our elbows on the ground. Bam, 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 right on the concrete to make our elbows stronger, right? Hurt like crazy the first few days. Started getting tougher and tougher and tougher, so we could lay in the prone longer, okay? Anyone else who's in the service who, you guys have been through this as well, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Then we went into, right, for like 2 or 3 days we did that, and each night in the barracks too, I'd lay down just bam, 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 smacking on the ground, trying to get my elbows stronger and tougher, right? And then eventually you could lay prone for a long time, and it wouldn't hurt your elbows anymore. You didn't need the little elbow pads. You didn't need any of that kind of stuff, okay? Okay, the other thing we would do is for a long time, we would just sit there, okay, in the prone, and we'd take a full canteen, and we would hook it on the end of the barrel so there's all that weight. And we just stay there. Be no bullet, and all we would do is practice cycling the weapon. That was it. Bam, cycle the weapon. Bam, cycle the weapon. The next thing that they would have us do is we would go, and again, I know a lot of you guys who have been in the service, you guys, you've done this as well, okay? And you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? What we would do too is the next thing we would do is we'd be laying down there, and we'd take a dime, and we'd sit it on the end of the barrel. And we'd put a dime there, and then we'd shoot, right? There'd be no round, there'd be no bullet inside of it. We'd take a shot, right? And then we would recharge the weapon, all while keeping balance while this dime, and even sometimes then also a canteen was hanging off the end in the prone. And if we could cycle the weapon multiple times without dropping that dime and leaving balance, without rotating back and forth, right? Then we were successful with that. And we would do that over and over and over and over. And like, look, point, shoot, right? Look, point, shoot, over and over and over and over and over, right? And I think that there was this mentality. It's like, this is like, guys, we did this for weeks and weeks and weeks before we ever even put a live round inside of a weapon. And I know from listening to a lot of the other guys that were there, right? There were these guys that would show up and they're like, man, I'm gonna be a sniper, right? And they expect to go be this highfalutin guy. They can't even sit in the prone for like 5 minutes without hurting themselves. They're like, oh, I'm hurt, right? Right? They're way, way, way ahead of where they are, right? Just putting that down. Okay, one of the things I wanted to talk about with you guys real quick is this whole idea of funnel building. A lot of people want to be snipers when they can't even cycle a weapon, right? A lot of people want to build sales funnels that are successful. They haven't even figured out what copy is, and they think, it's not about copy, it's not about copy, okay? Or they don't even know the actual psychology of what's happening in the brain. They don't know the difference between marketing and sales. They have not done the things inside of their life, right? And there's no patterns inside their life to actually know how funnels work, what a funnel is, right? For a long time, not a long time, okay? For a little bit though, I used to think, a funnel is pages. A funnel's not pages, it's a way to do a funnel, okay? Anyway, what I want to do real quick is I want to show you guys a notebook and how much I've dedicated my life to this topic, okay? I want to show you a notebook. This is the original notebook where I first heard about Russell Brunson. And his very first course, the first course that I went through of his was called .com Secrets X, okay? Check this out. Okay, I just want to show you guys these pages here. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Check these pages out. They are chock full. Okay, this took me, I stayed up till 3 a.m. for 3 months in a row. I mean, look at that. Studying funnelology. Studying, all right, this is all ads. The beginning of it, this is all ad strategy. Ad strategy, ad strategy. Just look at that. Look at that. Guys, this is one notebook. I just found a whole bunch of them over there. I've been kind of walking through memory lane. Probably spent too much time today doing that. Okay, but I was reminded, like, oh man, I really have spent a significant portion of time in this game. Okay, when I was in college, I would stay up till 3 a.m. studying Russell's first course. And this is the way I did it. I would press play, and I would pause after about 5 seconds, actually. And I would write down what he said. Okay, and then I would press play, and then I would press pause after 5 seconds, and I would write down what he said. Okay, look at this, finding good sites. These are the best tools. This is the best way to buy banner ads, right? This is the best ways for media growth and traffic. The online traffic blueprint. We're going to talk, right, this is how actual sales process happens, part 2 of 3, 3 of 3, right? This is Facebook strategies. This is tons and tons of stuff, right? How to actually take advantage of the lifeline of your leads. How to, I mean, this is, it's so rich with amazing, oh my gosh, I can't even believe. In fact, I was reminded of a few things in there I'm going to start doing differently. But I realized, like, I started calling this my Indiana Jones journal, right? I wrote them down in my diary so I wouldn't have to remember, right? It's the exact same thing from Indiana Jones. And what I want you to know and understand is, like, if you are just starting out, or you've only been doing this for maybe like a month or two, and you're like, it doesn't work. Like, understand that's a false belief. That's not true. And get real with yourself and understand that, right, when you like look at other guys, you're like, don't compare yourself to where other people are. Use it as leverage, use it as motivation, but don't compare yourself or put your self-worth, right, on somebody else. Otherwise, that's the fastest way to go down, okay? Think dime drills, okay? Think you laying down. Think you, right, I often think of right, this is your training wheels, okay? This is like, it's like Rocky. Remember the first Rocky, and he's sitting there, he's just like breaking ribs, pounding the meat in that freezer, right? A lot of you guys haven't even done that yet, and you're expecting to go to an octagon, okay? Like, understand that this is a dedicated thing for you to go get into. If you're like, I don't know if I want to get into this game, that's a scary place for you to go, okay? I remember the day I was standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom, and I looked at myself, and I had done real estate. I had sold ebooks on the internet. I tried to, through Amazon. All right, I had done door-to-door sales. I was a telemarketer, diamonds, literally, traffic driving, and that kind of, and I kind of started seeing this funnel game, and I started to get into that. And I think it was about 17 businesses, I think, that I tried before one of them was actually took off and was successful. But it was easily like probably 9 or 10 industries, and I obsessed, right? 9 or 10 industries until I found the one where I was like, huh. And if you're asking yourself, like, Steven, I don't know what I want to do, it's a simple fix. Try more stuff, okay? And I started doing real estate, and I started doing stocks and options, and I started doing, and while I could, like, I mean, I obsessed. Like, we go spend a lot of money to go learn from the best person in just this one thing, or just this one thing, right? And I dove in as if it was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And, I wasn't just like, I committed, right? And after about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm not giving up. I just don't feel like I found the thing yet. I don't know if this is what I want. And I go to the next thing, and I dive in as if my life depended on it. All right, and then I was like, I don't know if this is the thing, right? And I called it for me, I called it the age of exploration. And I actively, like, it's not like I just turned back around and was like, well, it's kind of just exploring. No, I actively entered an age of exploration. And I actively wanted to know, is this what I want to do? And then number 2, once I find it, right? This is what I want to do when I do find it. Number 2, well, I sink my teeth into it. Does this industry, or is this thing that I'm doing, do I have the capacity to obsess? Okay, I want to look ridiculous to people who are outside of the industry. That if they don't know what I do, I want them to look at me and be like, dude, that guy is crazy about what he does. And if you don't see that you have a capacity in what you're doing right now, right? If you don't see that you have a capacity to obsess, I mean insatiably, right? Inconsolably. If you're able to actually go and obsess, and become one of the best, if not the best in what you do, right? Am I the best funnel builder? No. Okay, but I'm probably up there, right? Right? I don't know of any other person besides Russell who's built as many funnels as I have, okay? And which is interesting, right? You think about that. I was looking at my goals too. I was looking at some goals that I wrote 3 years ago, and one of my goals was, this is before I ever met Russell, but one of my goals I wrote down was, I want to hang out with Russell. And I just sent it to him, and I was like, dude, That happened. That's crazy, right? But it's part of it is because of the obsession. And when you obsess and declare, okay, obsess and declare, what is it you want? It's funny how many things in the world start to conspire for you, not against you. And if you feel like things right now are conspiring against you, most of the time it's because you haven't declared, right? Things want to get in your line, things want to line up for your benefit. But if you have not been able to sit right, if you've not declared, you don't. No one knows what you want. No one can help you. No one can help. There's things that can't come together. I'm not saying like the power of the universe. I believe in God. Okay, I believe that God can't help me actually do the thing until I say this is what I want to do anyway. Right? So when those things came into alignment, I said, boom, I want to be the best funnel builder in the world. When I said that, things started coming together. And I saw that I had the ability. This was an area where I was able to obsess. And I saw that it was an area and ability where I was able to try and become the best in the world, okay, where there was capacity and room, okay. Am I? Again, I said no, okay, but probably one of them, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't know what I want to do yet, well, start exploring with intent. Don't just like, tip a toe, put a toe in, okay. Explore with intent, okay, with intent to figure out, is this the thing I'm going to sink my teeth in? Am I going to be known for just this one thing? What's funny is when I actually got really, really far down into the funnel game, suddenly this whole area has opened up where I really obsess over, and it's offer creation. So I've kind of become the offer creation guy, right? I was like, hey, I'm going to put blinders on. Those horses with the blinders, I'm not going to look at real estate anymore, right? If you're doing that, that's great. I'm just saying for me, right? And this is how I chose my thing, right? I'm not going to look at real estate anymore. I'm going to stop looking at selling like ebooks. I was really into that kind of stuff for a while. I'm going to stop looking into doing diamonds, right? Stocks and options. I'm not going to look at that anymore. And I got real focused. I put down every book that had nothing to do with a funnel, even though all sales have to do with a funnel. But I'm meaning specifically funnel building and on the internet. I put everything down, put everything away, and I was like, who is the best person to learn from? There was I was walking out of the event room in ClickFunnels one day. This wasn't long ago. I think this is like last fall. I was walking out, and Russell was walking out of one of the other offices, and we were walking back to his office. He goes, "What's up, man?" I said, "Oh, just recorded the sweet video." He goes, "Dude, you know what I figured out about you?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "You live by a principle. It's kind of interesting. I wish more people lived by it." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is interesting." Like, yeah, all right. What is it, dude? And he goes, "You live by the principle of you follow whoever has the biggest cheese." I was like, that's kind of interesting way to say that. And he goes, "Seriously though, right?" He goes, if you want to go and learn how to do this thing, you don't go learn from like a C-level person. You see who has the biggest cheese in that thing, and you go learn right at their feet." And he started pointing out all these places I'd done that. I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I've done that, And he's like, you think about like funnels of me. I was like, yeah, you certainly have the largest cheese on the funnel game there, Russell. Right? But understand that, okay? First of all, just figure out where you are and then declare it, right? Decide and then declare. This is what I want. This is where I'm going, right? And then be willing to put the training wheels on. Do the freaking dime drills. Take time to hit your elbows on the concrete. Do what you're supposed to. Don't shortcut the actual process. Rather, fall in love with the process. Okay, that's the easiest way to stay in love with what you're doing. I know I'm just kind of ranting right now, but I'm really, really passionate about this topic because, man, I remember growing up, I would have conversations with my parents, kind of complaining, like, I don't know what I'm good at. I'm kind of like, what am I good at? What am I doing here? Like, I'm not really that crazy of a sports guy, although I like it. I was really physical still, but I wasn't really into sports. I wasn't really doing this over here. I was like, what do I do? I don't know what I do. What do I do? What am I good at? Right? And so I'm so passionate about this because after a while, when I accepted the fact that I just hadn't tried enough stuff yet, I tried stuff. And then suddenly I was like, boom, that, right? I declared. Right? I declared publicly. It's the reason I always give you guys my goals for every single year publicly at the beginning of each year. It's like the scariest thing I do every single year, right? January 1st comes along. All right, guys, this is how I financially did last year. This is how I'm financially going to do this next year. Do I hit it? Not usually, but I usually come close, right? And it's because I'm declaring intent, right? And now that I have the intent, I go find the person who has the biggest cheese, right? This is totally, just a second, I'm coming right back. Boom! This is a Mr. Miyagi scenario. Too many guys are fearing looking stupid while you're painting the fence and sanding the floor, right? Oh, that has nothing to do with what I'm gonna go do. I don't wanna look like an idiot. Man, be willing to look like an idiot. You're gonna be. You're not gonna know anything about the industry for a while, so who cares? You're not gonna have any following, so who cares? No one's really watching you for a while anyway. Okay, if you're gonna go and you're gonna choose, right? Be willing to find your Mr. Miyagi, that guy with the biggest cheese, and when he says sand the floor, paint the fence, put a water bottle on the end of your gun. Okay, be willing to do it, right? What ended up happening with that shooting thing is I dedicated so much of my time, not that you have a lot of time in basic training, okay, but in the evenings, I would lay down on the prone, I would keep hitting my elbows, I would keep cycling the web, I'd like visualize my sight, my sight picture like crazy. I would do everything I was supposed to do over and over and over. I actually became pretty obsessed over it in basic training, and I was one of 2 guys out of 200 to win a phone call home because of how well I shot. I only missed a few rounds, and they were like, dang, it's super cool. He's off iron sights, really, really far shots. It's really fun. And I obsessed over it. And it was those kinds of experiences, though, and realizing, fascinating. It's the training regiment that gives you success. Okay? When you actually find the thing, you declare that that's the thing you want, just everywhere, to the market, to whoever, to God, yourself, the spouse, whoever. When you declare it, you put blinders on, you're willing to find the guy with the biggest cheese and do what he says. It's the dedication to the training regiment, okay? It's pressing play and stopping after 3 seconds, right? That's what ends up giving you success inside of whatever you decided to do. Anything, right? Anything that you do. There was, in fact, the way I started learning how to do sales videos was actually pretty interesting. I went and I found this guy's sales training, and it was really cool, and I wanted to do it also, but I didn't know how to write sales copy. So what I started doing was I would go find these guys' different sales videos, and this was a serious pain in the butt, but it taught me like crazy. I would sit down for like 2 hours and be like, okay, I'm gonna do nothing but this. And I would sit down for 2 hours and I would press play for about 5 seconds and listen to what the guy was saying in the sales video. And then I'd press pause and I would write down what he said. And then I'd press play and listen to what he said on the sales video, and then press pause and write down what he said. Okay? And I did that. I mean, it took me there were 5 videos I transcribed. It took me 6 weeks to do that. I mean, I was in classes and doing other things as well, but every day I would dedicate, several hours to doing this. And I'd go back and read them. I'd be like, oh, patterns. What? Patterns everywhere. Huh. And then I'd go do it again to the next one. I see what he's doing and what he changed from the last one, right? This is a guy in a different industry. He wasn't in the sales funnel industry. And I did it again. And I did it again. And did it again. In fact, one of the ways, back in the day, one of the ways these guys would, Russell's telling me a story about he's got a big stack of sales letters behind his desk. It's a huge stack, it's a big old stack of swipe files. And he's like, yeah, man, in the day, what they used to do is they would go and the events. In fact, I don't even know if there's still events like this. There might be, though. But he's like, if you wanted to learn how to be a copywriter, a sales copywriter, what you'd do is you'd go to these events, and they'd hand you like the top performing sales letters from multiple industries, and you would spend 3 days rewriting the entire sales letter by hand. That's all the event was, right? Because writing it and thinking through it and writing it, that's what got you to learn the process. Learn the process. Learn the process. I guarantee whoever has the biggest cheese, they have, number one, they're clearly masters, but what they really have is a process, right? I have a process for funnel building, right? I have a process for pumping funnels out of the door. I have a process, right? Just like there was a process for the shooting. There's a process for me going through and learning that stuff. There's a process for me, right? I got third in my first sprint triathlon, which is really cool. That was a while ago. It was like 6 years ago. Okay, there was a process I was going through though. Okay, the process is the success. Okay, and what's funny is that if you want to shortcut it, right? Like I said, first decide, then declare, go find the guy with the biggest cheese and learn that person's process. Okay, when you do that, it's the process, it's the training regiment that gives you the success with that. So go in. I know. Anyways, if this feels like it's all over the place, I want you to know. I know why I am where I am. I know exactly why. And it's because of these little realizations I had along the way, okay? It's kind of like, if you guys remember the movie Remember the Titans? Great movie, right? Great movie. And they're in that training camp, and they're doing all these things that might seem kind of trite, right? The coach knew. Coach knew what was up. He knew exactly what things would cause what outputs, Okay, so when you find that person, you find your Mr. Miyagi, and you're doing wax on, wax off. So you're doing all these things. You're doing dime drills, right? The equivalent of that. You're pressing play and pause every 3 to 5 seconds, okay? Those are the things that make you a master. You do those things, don't watch the clock. Shoot your clock. Okay, get rid of it. Don't watch the clock, and you'll realize that within like a year of you doing that kind of thing, you're going to be an expert. Meaning more so than like 80% of the rest of the population. You keep doing that stuff, you're going to go 90%, right? 91, 92, and you're going to get, without that much time, you're going to get a lot of progress. You're going to be able to remove those training wheels, and suddenly you'll be training others. Anyways, guys, there's a lot more to that in a way, I think, but you have to understand that most of the time, someone's asking, like, what do I do? What should I go do? I'm like, man, you haven't tried enough stuff. Okay, go try stuff. And then declare what you want. Or go find someone with the biggest cheese and learn from them. Learn their process. They've somehow formulated their own process. Learn their personal process, right? There's safety in that training regimen. All right, there's almost virtually guaranteed success in that training regimen. Then you turn around, you start teaching others. That solidifies what you've learned, and that's literally the model that I use, and it's literally why I do this podcast. If I can turn around and I can teach you guys what I'm learning at the same time, it serves me just as much as it serves you, and it's me literally living the exact process that I'm trying to teach you guys. Anyways, hopefully it's been helpful. My urge to you is to keep the training wheels on. Unless you feel like you can turn around and train somebody else, keep the training wheels on. Find the person with the biggest cheese, right? Go find the person with the process who's made their own process. They're so good. They're good enough, right? Like I have an offer creation process, so people come learn offer creation from me because I've formulated it and I obsess over it. And it's become my thing. Right? Offer creation, right? The actual sales message creation, the actual marketing message creation. Those are like, that's my thing, right? I think about that like 24/7. It's my thing. I obsess. If there's no capacity for you to obsess over the thing that you do and that you're doing right now, you're probably in the wrong thing. All right, guys, hopefully this has been a helpful episode to you. If you have liked this at all, please go review it and rate it inside of iTunes. It does mean the world to me, and I do read them, actually. I'll turn back around. Oh, check it out, a new review, and I'll go back and I read it. It means a lot to me, and I do see who does it. It means a lot. Hey, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Hey, wish you could geek out with other real funnel builders and even ask questions while I build funnels live? Oh, wish granted. Watch and learn funnel building as I document my process in my funnel strategy group. It's free. Just go to thescienceofselling.online and join now.